All right, let me set the table for y'all because this week, oh, the sports media internet was living. So get this. I'm minding my business, probably trash talking the Cowboys, when suddenly Bill Simmons drops this interview with my old first take partner, Max Kellerman. Now, you might be thinking, Stephen A., you and Max haven't traded blows on TV in years. Why are folks still talking? Well, apparently, when you put two opinionated guys in the studio for 5 years and then pull the plug, the world wants to know what really happened. Now, Max, being Max, finally decides to open up. And I mean, he went all in, dropping references to sparring 15 rounds with Muhammad Kellerman. I had to double check, folks. Was this a deep fake or did Max just compare himself to Ali? That's like if I called myself Stephen A. Jordan every time I beat someone in NBA 2 Kelvins. Laughter. Look, these interviews stir up more nostalgia than a Martin rerun, but as soon as Max talked about putting in the work and why things ended, I could practically hear the Twitter fingers warming up. And Bill Simmons, as always, pokes the bear. Did Stephen A want to go 15 rounds or did he just want a different type of show? Oof. That's the setup, folks, the jab that starts the round. But here's the conflict. They're not just talking about TV, they're talking about competitive energy, about drip, about what makes a debate show tick. And, I can't let that slide. The resolution? Well, we're just getting started. Buckle up. So let's dive deeper because behind every TV moment, there's a story. And sometimes the loudest noise isn't on the air, but backstage. You with me? So let's clear something up. Debate TV and radio, totally different animals. See, on a debate show like First Take, you're expected to have point and counterpoint. If I agree with my co host every segment, it's not a debate, it's a book club. The audience expects fireworks, not a fireside chat. That's why ratings, yeah, that's the Nielsen numbers you hear about matter so much. They're the scoreboard. If you're not compelling, the numbers drop, and trust me, execs notice faster than your fancy football league when you forget to set your lineup. Now, you might be saying, but Stephen A isn't chemistry king. Of course, but the chemistry's got to have some friction. On radio, though, it's a different tempo. You can riff for hours, wander off into hypotheticals, or rehash last night's game until the wheels fall off. It's like playing pickup structures looser. Stakes are different. Marcellus Wiley, now that's a smart guy. World's strongest man of NFL takes. He chimed in with his own experience working with Max. But here's the thing Marcellus and Max were doing radio, not TV debate. Radio is about agreement, flow, expanding on ideas with nuance. TV debate, you need contrast, and sometimes you got to take a position, even if it means playing devil's advocate. Think of it like chess versus speed, chess strategy versus reaction. The conflict here is when people conflate those formats. So when folks say, well, Stephen A didn't want to work with Max, they're missing the context. It's not about personality, it's about the requirements of the platform. Would I split a segment with Max on SportsCenter? Absolutely. But a daily debate show? Whole different calculus. Resolution? Let's not compare apples to oranges radio to TV. Both have their place, but you got to respect the grind and the structure of each. Otherwise, you're missing what makes each great and why sometimes great talent just doesn't fit the same format. Now, this part cracks me up seriously, folks. There's this myth that gets thrown around. Stephen A was scared to debate Max Kellerman. Laughter. I mean, come on, people. Did anyone actually watch the show? For 5 straight years, we went toe to toe, trading shots like Pacquiao and Mayweather. The technical term here is adversarial synergy when two people push each other to greater heights by disagreeing. It's like iron sharpens iron, or in sports like Brady versus Manning every Sunday. Now you might be thinking, but Max called himself Muhammad Kellerman. Wasn't he unbeatable? Sure, in boxing knowledge, Max is a genius. Guy drops terms like CompuBox data and orthodox stance like he's teaching a masterclass. But on football, basketball, pop culture, sometimes his takes have me asking, Max, are we watching the same league? Let me tell you a story. When Max said Tom Brady would fall off a cliff, it set Twitter on fire. The next day, man apologized. That's not a knock, it's what happens when bold predictions meet reality. The conflict is if you're always the contrarian, sometimes you back yourself into a corner. If I was really scared to debate, why would I go at legends like Shannon Sharp, Michael Irvin, or Mad Dog Russo every morning? That's like saying LeBron's afraid to drive the lane. And the resolution? Let's keep it real. Nobody's ducking anyone. It's about show structure, not showdowns. You want to debate, you need contrast. But scared? Nah, y'all gonna have to try harder than that to sell that narrative. So next time someone says Stephen A can't handle the smoke, just remember I'm the guy still standing in the ring, gloves laced, waiting for the next challenger. Ali or not, the show goes on. Let's peel back the curtain. A lot of folks love to play Monday morning quarterback about media drama, but here's the inside play. Loyalty and communication matter more than hot takes. Marcellus Wiley, much respect, but you never once called me to ask what really happened between me and Max. All those takes, they're based on secondhand info, like trying to analyze a play without seeing the film. Now, you might be thinking, why does that matter? Because in this business, heck, in life, perspective's everything. If you only hear one side of the story, you're not getting the real picture. That's the setup, perception versus reality. The conflict, folks amplify narratives based on partial info. Bill Simmons asks tough questions on his show, but never asked me face to face if he thought my exit was shady. Here's a hypothetical. Imagine you're in a locker room and your teammate gets traded. Everyone's got an opinion, but how many people actually ask the coach what went down? Not many. That's what's happening here. People running with stories instead of picking up the phone. But let me resolve it. I'm not mad. I'm not salty. I just want the record straight. If you want the truth, ask both sides. Don't just rely on what sounds juicier. That's how we get past hearsay and into real dialogue. So, to all the media folks, and honestly anyone listening, when in doubt, just ask. You might be surprised at the answer, and save yourself a whole lot of drama. As we head into the final round, let's talk legacy and moving forward. Here's the deal. Max Kellerman is one of the kindest, smartest dudes you'll meet in this industry. Boxing historian, wordsmith, all around good guy. I don't hate the man, never did. In fact, I want to see him thrive. He's got a new podcast coming, possibly a show with Rich Paul, and y'all know I'll show up if he calls. No hard feelings, only evolution. Now, why does this matter? Because too often people think every professional split is some secret feud, like we're in the NBA Finals, Game 7, staring each other down. Nah, sometimes it's just about fit. Debate shows need a certain dynamic, diametric opposition, energy, and yeah, a little theater. When it's not there, you pivot. That's how it works. Adapt or get left behind. The technical term here, professional divergence, when two paths split, but both can still succeed. That's what you're seeing with all the talent on First Take now. Hall of Famers, MVPs, legends. The show goes on, lineups change, but the mission never does entertain, inform, and challenge. Resolution, let's celebrate each other's wins. If Max wants to call himself Muhammad Kellerman, more power to him. As for me, I'll debate anyone, anytime. Just know I'm always bringing the heat. Life's too short for grudges. There's room at the table for everyone. So, as I sign off, here's my advice. Next time you see a headline about media drama, ask yourself, is this real or just another round in the sport we all love? Either way, keep tuning in. Your boy's not going anywhere. Peace and love, y'all.